Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and for this video today, I'm not gonna be, doing my usual stuff of scripting what I think in advance. I'm not gonna be doing any bullet points. This isn't gonna be a technical analysis of anything. This is just me and my opinions. And if you don't like it, then you can click off this video right now. But this is the entire point of YouTube, right? Broadcast yourself. These are my opinions. And it has to do a lot with the state of honkaistarrail right now. I know that sounds like, I'm scary. Oh, wait, is he doom posting again? Is he gonna say this game is bad? No, I'm not. Let's be real, it's not that serious. But I do think that people actually are taking this seriously, so might as well talk about it, right? And what I think is gonna happen with the live stream, as well as what I think currently in the moment. Now, the current state of the community is, I don't think it's been this messy in my experience. So let's get into the main part of it and what I also am looking forward to the most. And a lot of it has been rooted back to this 3.0 special edition developer radio. This was dropped completely out of nowhere. Nobody foresaw that they were going to do a developer radio after they already did one. And this one was very important because they addressed a lot of the criticisms about Amphorius very early on. And 2 patches later, they have failed to address one thing. First of all, let's see what they addressed first. Trailblaze mission story issue, they already addressed this in the 3.1 live stream, and you can see its effect in the current story too, so that's nice. Mission puzzle solving, you can definitely feel that in 3.1 there was less puzzles than before, which is quite nice. People were complaining about this because it broke their immersion and made them really bored. They just want to get the story over with kind of type beat too. So there was a bunch of people that were complaining about that. They also changed the map to be more exploration friendly. You can see in the screenshot there's less enemies after adjustment. And in the 3.1 live stream, they went even further and changed the map routing, so it's more clear of like twists and turns, and you can just go straight forward kinda to another point in the map, which is, I think, quite nice to help story progression flow further too. But also, this was the biggest part of it for me and for many people. In addition, this is the exact quote: issues close to Trailblazers' hearts, including difficulty deploying older characters on the battlefield and the strengthening of these older characters. There is no other way to twist this line right here. They are gonna do character buffs. Whether it's monetized or not, we're gonna see. And that's the entire issue here. This has still not been acknowledged even in the 3.1 live stream, and people are getting really antsy about it in recent days because of the issues with trials, because of the issues with My Day, because of the Castro situation. There's a lot. It's been boiling a lot in the community, and this live stream is going to be really important because of that for some people. And I don't think they can weasel their way out of this and not mention it in this live stream, because if they don't, people are going to be really mad about it. And if it's not sufficient either, like if they just outright said, yes, we're still doing character buffs, we can't tell you what it is, but it's in the schedule. We've announced this back in 3.0 and we still don't have an answer for you in 3.2, then people are going to be really mad about it, I think. And as another extra way, as something that I want to note too, in the previous live stream for the anniversary in 2.1, where Akron and Aventurine were released, there was a lot of yapping because it was a very dev-focused live stream. They talked about Aventurine's base concept of being a dodge tank, which was interesting, but they talked about the difficulties they had with Aventurine, which was very interesting. They talked about Acheron and stuff like that. They also talked about the development of certain things, and they had this really, really interesting Q&A where they answered some very heavy questions, like their position on leaks, story leaks, character leaks, stuff like that. And also the situation with some characters that are beloved that disappeared from the story, like Ting Yun, and they addressed it in in the form of Fugue, which is quite nice. I think they also addressed the issues with costumes too, and we got our first costume, which was completely free with March 7th, which is also nice. They did listen on that point. So if they plan to do that again here, I don't think there's any avoiding it. We're gonna get some talk about this. If it doesn't happen, we're gonna see an unbelievable biblical crash out on Twitter, which is gonna be fun to look at. As well, I also want to talk about this because I think it's also more important to the general player base than just meta slaves and meta observers like me, and it's the concept. It's the free rewards. Like if you're going into this live stream, you're expecting free rewards because they've raised the bar so much. And last year they did free 5-star doctor ratio. So when the anniversary live stream came out and the free stuff wasn't actually, the free stuff was like 30 pulls and some fuel. And that's good and all, but clearly it was much less because they already released doctor ratio and people thought that was fair, In this live stream, the most recent big thing we got for free was a 5-star standard selector. So the expectations for what they're gonna be giving out for free in the live stream is gonna be a pretty big deal because they can't excuse it with like a free doctor ratio anymore. It's just a free standard character, which with the discussions of power creep and all that, I don't think people are that hot on as much as a free 5-star like doctor ratio was. So yeah, no matter what your position is on power creep, character buffs, free stuff, and whatever the devs are thinking, and whatever you think about the game currently with its story, with its storytelling, with its presentation, with Castris or anything. Okay, let me talk about Castris first actually. I think some people that are negative with Castris's global buff have a pretty wrong perception about how casual players think, because the things that I've seen written down by these people are like, oh, if the casuals see what global buffs do in the live stream, they're gonna start a revolt. Let's be honest, no they're not. Especially when they see that the effect is kind of meh anyway, because the thing is, casuals don't have forward thinking like that. They kind of just look at the short term, and if they see that it's cool, they're gonna pull with no complaints about the future or anything. And as someone that thinks Castris's global buff is a negative thing, obviously, I still have to admit that the casuals are not gonna care about it. It's just one cool thing to pull. Like, not every player in Star Rail plays endgame, honestly. Even if it's still like the most endgame focused Hoyo game, it's still not the majority. So if you're expecting the Castris global buff to rile the casuals up, I think you'll be disappointed, I'm sorry to say. But anyway, to get back on topic, no matter what you feel about the current situation right now, if they do manage to deliver and if they manage to underperform, I think the reactions are gonna be priceless no matter what. It's either gonna be priceless because people are actually happy with the game and like, oh yes, HSR is so back to its original form, or it's gonna be people gonna be really mad, like, I'm quitting the game because they didn't do enough for this live stream. And it's gonna be a really interesting time, especially as I watch it with other content creators. So yeah, this is pretty much the entire video. I'm going to be disappearing into Wuwa for a while until the live stream, so I'm probably not gonna be able to read them until the stream comes around because I'm quite busy these days. And just to cut this off, okay, sorry if, by the way, it started raining if there's any background noise, but just to address this, since some people are thinking it, I'm not gonna be quitting the game. If I was quitting the game, it's not just because of the 3.2 live stream under delivering or anything, because I still think the positives and the negatives of this game are still favorable. Like, there's more positives in this game than there's negatives to me, where I'm not gonna quit. I've been through much worse. PvP gacha games are change a man, but anyway, I have been through worse in terms of imbalances in the meta, in terms of power creep, in terms of how fast endgame could get, and I can understand that, this isn't the worst situation. Honestly, honkaistarrail is still generous by all metrics, but I'm also not gonna stop people for complaining and wanting the game to be better for them, because to be honest, I'm a minority of a minority, because if I don't enjoy the game's meta, I will just keep handicapping myself to see what the perfect difficulty is to me, and I can make that adjustment because I know how the game works and all that kind of stuff. So really, what do I lose by having an easier game or by having a less greedy gacha game? Really nothing. Like, nothing changes. I just keep cutting costs and see what works and what doesn't. I'll run DOT if I have to, if it makes the game more interesting. But for casual players, they don't really have an out for it. So if they want to make it easier, that's fine. I'll make it for myself harder. Like, speaking from business perspective, honestly, it doesn't make sense. They should not be catering to sweaty or tryhards like me, and instead be catering to casuals to be able to clear endgame. But either way, I'm not quitting the game. I've been through much worse. That's not a flex, definitely. Just because I've eaten shit more and I'm not, and it doesn't make me sick anymore. We're not in the Pain Olympics, okay? Like, we just want a better game for ourselves and we just want to entertain ourselves. Like, there's no PvP here. And, I criticize the 4-star shortage. I criticize the designs of certain characters, and I criticize some problems of the game, but it's not that serious. At the end of the day, it's just a game, and I just want the game to be better. I'm not saying that Hoyoverse should shut down because of something that they did, or like, I'm not calling for the death of devs for some reason. Like, that's just deranged behavior. And I'm also not gonna be like tribalism, like, Kuro games, yay, Kuro is so much better than Hoyo. Like, the point is, I think the game is still better. I still think there's more positives than there are negatives, and that's how I feel. And if you don't feel the same way, then that's fine. It's just opinions. Again, it's not that serious. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say. Thanks to all my members for funding this channel, I suppose. Especially Man42 for the very special highest tier. And I did a live stream. If you want to see that members only live stream, that's super secret live stream because of the topics, then you can go ahead and subscribe to the waiver or higher tier. And yeah, sorry for this rambly video, but yeah, I'm sure you've expected this when you heard the first 30 seconds, and I'll see you later. I hope you guys find your way of having fun in this game. Bye bye.